dive a little under the surface on that. Let's actually talk about how.
Yeah. Okay.
In moments where that happens, I find that there's instant reaction. That's instant reaction because you're in a crisis moment. When that happens, you trust the Holy Spirit. You rely on the Word that's presently living and active inside of you, and you act. Mm-hmm. That's not always the case. There are a lot of times where there's a lot of distance in between, and even if a lot of distance is an hour, I know of something. My wife's going to come home later on. We're going to have a conversation about this. I have time to think about. I have time to surrender my wants, drives, and desires for this conversation, and I have time to ask the Lord for His wisdom. Yeah. I think that we treat prayer and witness with the Holy Spirit as if it's like a last resort type thing that I get to after I've sat alone in a field and thought about it for a minute. And I think that more often than not, we should create some space and start there. I think more often than not. This is a challenge that I've been trying to live through myself this summer, and that is allowing some space between the thought that comes into my head and when it comes out of my mouth. Yeah. And there are moments where in sitting in the room, the Holy Spirit is actually telling me, this has happened to me this week in meetings where I've been sitting thinking, no,
right.
You need to not say anything. You need to be quiet. Let Him talk. And what's crazy is the more you do that, the more sensitive you become to His leading and His guiding. You get better at it. The more you pay attention and go with, Sometimes it's the opposite of how you feel. Sometimes it is how you feel. One of the best clues is looking around the room to see what the room needs, because that's what the Holy Spirit's doing in that moment. Everything is about leading people to help people see Jesus better. So it's about clarity. It's about unity. It's about togetherness. That's what we see in the book, right? So if that's the case, that's the fruit of the Spirit: love, joy, peace, patience, kindness. So the test for you before it comes from your mouth or you act is, what am I going to do in this moment that's going to produce the fruit of the Spirit?
And first in me, right?
But just in the room in general, me included. All of us here in this room.
Yeah.
And if the answer is, that's not, then best not to do it. And I did not say be soft on sin, and I did not say not to confront things when they need to be confronted. I didn't say any of that.
Yeah.
I just